Dustin Blitchok, a reporter at Benzinga in our downtown Detroit newsroom, and today I'm here with Dr. Martin Prescher, the Chief Technology Officer of AutoGravity, a FinTech startup from California that's changing the lending space for both new and used cars. They've only been online for about 1 year. They already have 750,000 downloads, and they announced this morning that they've crossed the $1 billion threshold in financing requests. So we're going to talk with Dr. Prescher about the company today, and thank you for joining us here in Detroit.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So I guess let's start off with where the idea came from for this company and what your role is in the automotive space. Mm-hmm. If you could tell me a little bit about that.
AutoGravity came out of the idea that purchasing a car is something that especially the younger generation has a lot of anxiety with. It's something that can take a long time. You invest a lot of time in researching what car you want, but most people finance the car,
right,
one way or the other. And that process is something that is for the consumer quite hard to navigate sometimes, because you have a very complex ecosystem of lenders, of dealers, and at the end you want the car that fulfills your mobility needs and does what you want, and you want to be able to afford it and be able to pay the monthly payments. So AutoGravity came out of this idea that car purchasing should be something you can do from the comfort of your home, something that you can do from an app or a website where you have full transparency into the whole process, into your payments, and into the options you as an individual have.
Was it apparent right from the get-go that you would need to strike partnerships with the automakers themselves? Because, and we're going to talk about this, but AutoGravity has partnerships with the financing arms of Hyundai, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen. Mm-hmm. Was that apparent right from the start that you'd want to be directly linking yourselves to automakers?
Yes, that was apparent, because the key to delivering an outstanding consumer experience when it comes to buying a car is really giving you realistic options and giving you financing opportunities and options that you, as you would have them at the dealership. And of course the financing arms of the manufacturers are a major source of financing for both new and used vehicles. So to partner with them is very natural and has always been a strategic component of our company.
Might we see you partnering in the future with some of the big three? Since we're here, I can't help but notice the Renaissance Center right here. Is that something that might happen down the road?
Of course. So we're expanding our portfolio of partnerships as we speak. We're constantly bringing new partners on, and that includes all automakers and major lending institutes in the U.S.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the architecture of this. So you consider yourselves a fintech company. There's a machine learning and AI aspect to this. And do you want to talk about how that plays into buying a car and how that technology powers your platform?
When you think about AI, what is AI really? It's all about
it's a buzzword.
It's a buzzword, right? Exactly. But it's all about solving complex problems. And if you think back to the first calculator that solved a problem that a human can, then that's multiplying to very large numbers, for example, right? And today we're obviously much further down the road, and AI or computers in general can solve very, very complex problems that now come close to what humans can do. For example, self-driving cars, right, where you really, mimic what a human does when driving a car. But the key to it is navigating a very complex ecosystem, a very complex set of data and inputs, and making decisions based on that. And AutoGravity does nothing different. We help the consumer navigate a very complex ecosystem and making very complex decisions, which start at what kind of car do I want?
What color?
What color, right, exactly. Do I want an
detail.
SUV or do I need a truck? Right, so it starts with that, but it ends all the way at, can I pay for that car every month? What kind of insurance do I need, and all that kind of stuff.
It even touches on that. So does your platform, the more that people use it, does it change the more user input it gets to kind of become predictive of what people's preferences might be?
Exactly. And so we center everything we do at the user experience. That means we really want to make sure when you come to the platform that we serve you what you're looking for. That means the right cars, the right financing, specific for your profile. And that's where prediction comes in, because obviously as early as possible, we want to be able to understand what are you looking for.
Okay, and maybe the whole takeaway from this, from your startup, is that it's speeding up the entire process.
Mm-hmm.
It just because it sounds like traditional car buying could be, you could spend weeks, you could spend months on searching for the vehicle physically, talking to different lenders. So it sounds like you're sort of compressing those stages of the process into potentially 15 minutes.
Exactly, and even less sometimes, right?
Okay.
So you can, I don't have exact numbers, but you can go through the application in under 10 minutes if you want to. And the big benefits are, of course, speed, but transparency, I think, is
Having your options out in front of you.
Exactly. We have a calculator on the app as well, where you can really play around with the numbers. You can have different inputs, play around with your down payments, with the rates and everything, and see what is it that I'll have to pay per month based on these inputs. And then you go through the process, and we really take you by the hand. And at the end, you will end up with a committed monthly payment by the lending institute of your choice that we connected you to.
You're going to Mercedes-Benz after you leave here today while you're visiting Michigan. Do you want to talk about what it's like, been like working with these companies, and what the future might hold for Autogravity? Because today, big announcement, you added an inventory piece.
Mm-hmm.
And we just took a look on an iPhone before we started the camera rolling here today, and I was seeing that the app now includes, in a given city, multiple dealerships. You can look at new and used car inventory. In some cases, there's actual photos of the car
Mm-hmm.
that we're talking about, and this just went live today.
Mm-hmm.
So that inventory piece, does that have a huge data component that you had to add? What was involved with adding that for 49 states?
Mm-hmm. So inventory is for sure a central piece and something that you need to offer the consumer, because the consumer wants to go to the dealership and find the actual car they were looking at, and then purchase that car with the financing option we connected that consumer with. So adding inventory for us is, again, a very natural progression, but as you already alluded to, it's not that easy, right? Because you have to manage data feeds from dealerships, from dealer groups.
And they're changing minute by minute. Where these cars are located, has it been
Correct.
sold?
So that needs to be updated. You need to make sure that you really provide a digital experience that is standardized. For when you're looking at a car in Ohio, it shows exactly the same way as a car in California.
Did a lot of the pathways for this data even exist when you got started, or did you have to build a lot of it yourself? I know your company's half engineers, which I think, based on our conversation, is no longer surprising, because there's a lot you have to grapple with here. But did you have to build this from the ground up?
So we had to build it on our side. The industry already has some of these things set up. So you can hook up to data feeds and work with companies that specialize in those kind of things. And of course, dealerships have inventory on their websites, so they already are able to manage their inventory at least on a daily basis. But the challenge really that needs to be solved in the industry as well is data standardization.
Right, that's what I'm getting at, because I can't even imagine through all the dealerships in the country, through the different automakers, foreign and domestic, there's probably not standardization yet.
So that is definitely a big problem or challenge that we solve, is how to really serve that up to the consumer in a consistent and standardized way, given that we really connect to the whole US ecosystem here, which that's why our company is centered around engineering, is because really there's a lot of challenges around these things and a lot more details to it than just hooking up to the feeds.
Well, this is a powerful app, and before I met you, I didn't know a thing about it. So I really thank you for coming in today and visiting Detroit and Benzinga. It's been a pleasure, Dr. Prescher.
Thank you very
for
much.
Coming.
Thank you for having me.